Abhay on Z5. Kunal, I must tell you, there are various ways of playing a cop. One was the very serious Zanjeer, Jab tak baithne ko na
The
kaha
original.
jaye. The original. Actually, the original was Dilip Kumar, the more somber one, the more dignified.
With the angry young man. I mean, there's nothing but anger on this man's face.
There is
especially
nothing
in
but
the
anger.
original.
Then we came to Singham and all these dramatic cop dramas. What kind of a cop is Abhay? Because I don't see too many filmy dialogues on him.
Yeah.
He seems to be quite real, and there is kind of a subdued drama around the police procedurals. What kind of a cop is
You
that?
just put it in the best way that I could,
Yeah?
because it's exactly what you just said. It is, we tried to keep that character as real as we could, even though he's a hero in so many ways. But I think he's already playing a part of a policeman, and I think those are our true heroes. And a lot of the cases that happened, especially in the first 2 seasons, were based on true crime. So just to keep it, all of that in
Based on
check.
true crime?
Yes, a lot
Really?
of those cases were based
So this
on
is not a
true-
fiction-based show.
I mean, it is a fictionalized
But
version of
inspired
it. I mean,
from-
this is a fictional world and he's a fictional cop, but a lot of those cases were cases that actually happened, which obviously were fictionalized to set into the world of Abhay.
Interesting.
So keeping all of that in mind, we did want to create a cop who's not so much out there that it seems like it's all fiction.
I remember watching Kunal in Gul Gulshan Gulfam. That was way back in 1987 or 88 maybe.
86 actually.
86, my God,
No, no,
you're
no,
a
no,
veteran.
87, 88, 88.
87, 88. And I clearly remember one scene from that show where a very famous actor, I don't remember his name, what a shame.
Parikshit Sahni.
Not Parikshit Sahani. He's doing something with a kabutar and he actually kisses the kabutar.
In Gul Gulshan Gulfam.
Yeah, he was the villain actually.
Pankaj Berry.
Maybe. But you know, that's how seasoned actually. I wouldn't say old. He actually looks like he's in his
I'm
20s.
also old, I'm not young.
Though he looks like in his 20s, but you are actually 30s, right?
Yeah, I'm 38.
Wow, but well maintained, Kunal. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
And I see a lot of your biking pics, and that's.
Right.
I think I'm also a motorbiker.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh, lovely.
yeah. So I know what kind of an effect it has on your mind
Right,
and in your
right.
on your mindset.
Right.
So tell me, that's how seasoned you are from 1987 to 2022. What are the beautiful lessons that you've learnt about film industry, keeping in mind the fact that your father was also an actor?
Right. I don't know if I could call all of them beautiful, but they've been lessons nonetheless.
Yeah.
And I think it's a part of growing up, it's a part of maturing, and generally in life, not just the industry, I think in any profession that you are, you come to terms with a lot of realities that some of them which you may have anticipated or thought that you could prepare for, and something that catches you completely off guard. And there are things that make you feel happy, there are things that make you feel sad. Then and I think, but it's very important, like, you know, in retrospect, I feel that everything that happened in my life had to happen exactly the way it did for me to be where I am right now.
True.
And I wouldn't change any of that, because that would affect from where I am right now. And I think I can't say 100% of right now is the best version of me that I have.
Yeah.
But a major part of that I'm very, very happy and excited about. And I didn't want to change that for a gamble of what could have been or could be. And I guess that's how it is for everybody. I am where I am because of who I am, and I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the prospects of what's coming.
Of course. And I clearly remember, Kunal, watching your wonderful performances in your childhood. And I clearly remember Raja Hindustani and so many other films, especially Zakhm. There's a very unique thing about you, Kunal. When you were young, your performances were way more mature for your age. Right. And now in this phase of life, you're you're doing more childlike fun, you know, so fun things as assignments. How do you see your life when you look back? You started acting at the age of 10?
I was 8 when I did Gul Gulshan Gulfam.
8.
No, actually I was 6 when I did Gul Gulshan. I was 8 when I did Hain, Rahi, Pyyar.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been acting since the age of 6. I'm 38 now. Because I think Gul Gulshan Gulfam was just an outing, because my parents were doing it, and I wasn't like serious about it. And
your father was in Gul Gulshan Gulfam?
My mother was also. She was
Both your parents?
Yeah, she was the main lead in Gul Gulshan Gulfam.
She was the main lead in Gul Gulshan Gulfam?
Zeeba, yeah. And so, and because it was being shot in Srinagar and I was living there, I just kind of was on set and I saw it. And my dad was also working with Shyam Benegal then, and he was casting for a lot of stuff. And he would like, often I would go to set and he was like, do you want to act? And I was like, no. Right until that happened, and then the same director who did Gul Gulshan Gulfam, Mr. Rahi, when we came to Bombay, was doing another thing which he wanted. It was an episode for kids, and he was casting my mother.
Wow.
And he said, but why doesn't he play the kid? And they said that he doesn't want to, and he asked me. And I remember watching myself on television and feeling great about it. I said, why not? But that was it, right?
Wow.
And I did that, but a year or two later, somebody from the casting team of Hamare Pyyar Ke got in touch with my dad, and my dad said, he's not acting, he just did that one-off.
Okay.
And he said, why don't you ask him?
How nice.
And he called me, and I remember I was in Delhi watching Dil, and he said, do you want to do this film? It's got Aamir Khan and Gul Chawla. I was like, yeah, I'm watching him.
Wow.
Why not? And that's how it started. But it was always a hobby then, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm very thankful that all of those things just happened by chance in my life. And the whole journey of a child actor was just like a thing.
Yeah.
It was never planned that I was being an actor.
Yeah.
But Zakhm happening at the point that it happened in my life became the reason why I said that, oh, I really don't want to give up on this so soon. And if that hadn't happened, I would be one of those child actors who was an actor when he was a child, and then I would be working somewhere.
Absolutely. But that's a revelation, Kunal. Kunal's mother was the lead artist in Gul Gulshan Gulfam, and she played Zeeba. What's your mother's name, Kunal?
Jyoti Khemu.
Jyoti Khemu. And now, you know, very few people know about it maybe, but we sometimes associate yourself with the Pataudi family. But, you know, when I was going through a lot of your biography and things like that, I realized that your grandfather is a Padma Shri awardee, and he was a famous playwright in Jammu and Kashmir. Tell me a little more about your ancestry and how they are associated with the arts.
Well, that's where it started. I mean, with him, he was the cultural secretary also of J&K, and he is a playwright from there. He's written some wonderful plays. He did a lot of work with the theatre community, with the Bhan community in Sopore, and so on. And other places, and I've realized that there is so much about my grandfather that I don't know, because I grew up in Mumbai and he was in Jammu, and we didn't actually meet each other so much, you know, barring the vacations. And my dad kind of extended from there and kind of went to National School of Drama, and then he had his own journey from there to you know, assisting Sham Babu, and then doing a little bit of television. He also did a film down south as an actor, and which did really well. But he didn't.
What's your father's name?
Ravi Khemu.
Ravi Khemu.
Yeah, and and my mother, before she did Gul Gulshan Gulfam, was on stage, and then she was an announcer with Doordarshan in Srinagar. So yeah, I mean, it's there, and I'm still trying to connect with a lot of my grandfather's work. Most all of his work he wrote in Kashmiri, and I can't read that because it's in the form of Urdu. And now it's being translated into English and Hindi, and I've just started reading some of his plays, and I feel very proud to be, you know, in that lineage. And I think the fact that I'm also fond of writing, I feel that that's where the connect is from.
Amazing. So while playing Abhay, have you taken tips from your father, who's an actor?
He was also a teacher of acting. He used to teach acting.
Wow.
So as a kid, I think he never taught me, but he was always around to tell me what not to do. He never believed in telling me what I should be doing, but he would definitely tell me, would you do this if you were at home? Why are you trying to do this?
Nice.
Because, you know, there was this thing of kids would in the 80s and 90s films would talk in a different way.
Right.
It was like, it was like, you
say that again.
So he just put it really nicely. He said, when I come home,
actor.
do you say that? I said, no. He said, then
Very
don't sing
nice.
song.
Very
Just talk like you talk to me.
Very nice.
So he kept it like that, right? So he was teaching me without letting me know that I was being taught. And then at some point he said, now you're on your own. I think you know, and now you'll just do your own thing. So when I finished school, I stopped acting in films, but I did theatre for 5-6 years. And then I had my own journey there, and I wanted to experience how it was being on stage. So I enjoyed that as well. And then I was sure that this is what I want to do.
Wonderful. And you know, since there is so much on social media about you and Soha and Inaya and Saif and Kareena, as a layman, I'm just putting someone else's opinion and asking your version. Do you think it is, what would you like to say to people who think it's more easy for people who belong to film families to get work? Is it true?
Of course it is. I'm saying your launch pad is set. And if not set, it can be organized or it can be worked for. Whereas somebody from the outside it doesn't have connections, doesn't know numbers to call or even where to get an audition and all that. So that's a different struggle. But having said that, it doesn't make it any easier for them.
Yeah.
Because we've been a part of this whole insider, outsider, nepotism and all of that. I just feel what kind of becomes unfair beyond a point is that there is a whole ecosystem that starts to work, and favoritism kind of can get into the way, but it's also at the end of the day a business. And I feel that if I'm going to put my money into something, why is it wrong for me to put it in my own child's future?
True.
So if you look at it as from a parent's perspective,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
From an outsider's perspective, it doesn't make sense. But the harsh truth remains that it doesn't matter you're an insider, outsider, who you are related to. If your films don't work on a Friday,
True.
once, twice, yeah, you will get another opportunity.
True.
Because you're a part of a family or so-called
Yeah.
a group. But you will not be able to sustain it beyond a point if you
Yeah.
don't have a talent of your own.
Yeah.
So yes, you have an advantage,
Yeah.
but it's just an advantage.
That's fine. That's fine. And coming back to this film, it's directed by Ken Ghosh.
Yes.
Yeah. And I saw the trailer. You would have all seen the trailer. It's quite dark. We see Vijay Raj. Vijay Raj is another actor who's doing very well for himself with the kind of talent that he has. I think it's a good time for all actors that are really talented to just be able to portray every bit that they have and put it on the table. It seems very dark, and it seems very, it also changes genres. I mean, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's a little, it goes into that gory zone. What do you have to say about the treatment, and what would people like in this show?
You know, luckily with the show, what we've been able to do is we've been able to get a lot of feedback with every season.
Yes.
So what we've been able to do because of that is, which unfortunately sometimes you can't do in a film, like you get criticism, even though it may be constructive criticism, you can't put it to use in that project, right? Because it's already done. With this, we've been able to take that and kind of, you know, filter out what makes sense and what's important, and make sure that going forward, we can
incorporate
do
all
that. So like you mentioned, gore is something that a lot of people like, but there was a lot of audience that stayed away just because of that.
Okay.
So we reduced that and sensitized it a little bit
Yeah.
to make sure that we get more audience that is just staying away from this because of that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, that's what I've learned from this medium.
Okay.
Not only as an actor is it satisfying to play a part for such a long time and get into the, you know, skin of it,
Right.
but also be able to, you know, navigate through criticism and make sure that you can do better.
Okay. And you know, there's something about the cop role that every cop, leading cop in a movie has to be called ACP something. So what is your designation in this?
He's not ACP, he's SP.
Okay. So SP Abhay is going to reach your drawing rooms, your mobile phones, tablets, and every medium that you watch your software on. So great. I'm holding him up because he has to go and pick up Inaya.
Yeah.
He's one hell of a good dad, and I think we need more like you because people do imitate actors, celebrities, influencers, people they watch on screen, and I guess you're putting a great example out there. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.